let's jump right into this explainer. If you're tuning in the night before you enter residential treatment, well, your mind is probably absolutely racing. You're likely feeling this really intense, almost overwhelming mix of profound relief and total dread, maybe even feeling both of those things in the exact same breath. I want to start off right here by validating that. That fear you're feeling, it is completely 100% normal. The first week of rehab is a massive transition. It's disorienting, it's emotional, and yeah, it is exhausting. But it's also the exact moment where your life actually begins to shift. Today, we're going to walk through exactly what happens during that critical first week, drawing directly on the proven protocols and expertise from the luxury treatment center Seasons Malibu. We want you to walk through those doors knowing exactly what to expect.
Here is our agenda for today's explainer. 1. Arrival and intake assessment. 2. Medical detox and stabilization. 3. Meeting your treatment team. 4. Establishing a daily rhythm. 5. Managing emotions and rules. And finally, 6. Stopping the momentum.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Arrival and Intake Assessment.
Okay, so during those very first hours at the facility, the primary focus is entirely on safely understanding your unique history. When you arrive, you aren't just handed a standard, boring questionnaire. Following guidelines from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, you'll undergo a comprehensive biopsychosocial assessment. What's really incredible here is that Seasons Malibu looks at your whole life. We're talking family dynamics, your trauma history, your mental health symptoms, not just the addiction itself. And listen, the goal here isn't to judge you. Trust me, they have heard it all before. The goal is to build a highly personalized care plan tailored specifically to you, rather than just forcing you into some generic one-size-fits-all protocol. Alongside that deep dive into your history, you're also going to receive a brief medical exam right when you arrive. They'll take your vitals and run some standard blood work just to establish a medical baseline. This is absolutely crucial. It ensures the clinical team can monitor you safely through the critical and, let's be honest, sometimes vulnerable early days of your stay, especially if you've been using substances heavily.
Moving right along to Section 2, Medical Detox and Stabilization.
Now, in this phase, we address the physical realities of withdrawal, which is a necessary step before any of the deeper psychological work can actually begin. Keep in mind, not everyone needs medical detox, but if your body has developed a dependence, withdrawal can be deeply uncomfortable or even medically dangerous. Look at how these first few days typically unfold. Day 1 is your supervised intake. Then, during days 2 through 4, you are closely monitored for medication-assisted withdrawal. While symptoms like nausea, insomnia, anxiety, or tremors are undoubtedly really tough to deal with, the good news is you won't have to rely on willpower alone. Thanks to 24/7 medication-assisted protocols, the clinical team helps ease these symptoms. By day 5, your body experiences physical recalibration. It can definitely feel like the hardest part of the journey, but you are kept safe and supported the entire time. Which brings us to Section 3, Meeting your treatment team. Once your body is medically stable and the fog finally begins to lift, it's time to meet the dedicated experts who are going to guide your recovery journey. It truly takes a village to heal, and Seasons Malibu provides a highly credentialed collaborative care team to be your village. You're going to meet your doctorate-level primary therapist, your psychiatrist or psychiatric nurse practitioner, your master's-level case managers, and the dedicated support staff. What makes this so effective is that this entire team collaborates daily to adjust your care. Plus, if you're dealing with things like depression, anxiety, or PTSD alongside addiction, they integrate the treatment for both co-occurring conditions simultaneously. This integrated, whole-person approach is exactly what the National Institute on Drug Abuse, NIDA, emphasizes for producing the absolute best long-term outcomes. Next up is Section 4, Establishing a Daily Rhythm. By day 3 or 4, you really start to settle in. A vital concept to grasp here is that idle time and early recovery basically just feeds anxiety. That's exactly why your days will quickly become purposefully structured. Your schedule is full on purpose, creating a very predictable daily rhythm. You'll have individual therapy to lay the groundwork, group therapy to learn emotional regulation with your peers, and psychoeducation so you actually understand the literal neuroscience behind how substances have affected your brain. Add to that wellness activities like yoga or just spending time outdoors, and even scheduled meals. This structure is beautifully designed to give your mind a much-needed safe break from that endless loop of worry and self-doubt you probably walked in with. Essentially, your body is relearning what safety and routine actually feel like. Now for Section 5, Managing Emotions and Rules. By the middle of your first week, you're going to encounter something that catches almost everyone completely off guard. There is a very stark contrast between what we expect and what actually happens. Everyone plans for the expected physical discomfort, right? The nausea, the insomnia, the tremors, but very few people plan for the unexpected emotional intensity. Out of nowhere, you might cry for no reason, feel intense anger, or experience this profound grief for the life you're leaving behind, even if that life was totally destructive. Or, on the flip side, you might just feel entirely numb. The absolute key takeaway here is that these intense feelings are not a sign of failure. They don't mean treatment isn't working. They are simply your nervous system finally waking up after years of being chemically suppressed. Which brings us to a major anxiety point for so many people considering rehab. Will I be allowed to keep my phone? Can I see visitors? Can I call home? Can I just quickly scroll social media? Well, the truth is, access is usually quite limited initially, but it is so vital to reframe how we view these restrictions. Rules are protection, they are not punishment. Limiting phones and delaying visitors gives you the vital, completely uninterrupted space you need to focus entirely on your healing. Early recovery is incredibly fragile. Think about it. A stressful text from home or a random trigger on social media can instantly pull you right back into those old thought patterns. These rules are there to protect your peace, possibly for the very first time in years.
So you're probably also wondering, what are the actual logistics of my stay?
Let's briefly cover the on-the-ground reality of an inpatient stay at a facility like Seasons Malibu. When it comes to duration, most residential programs last between 30 to 90 days. There's really no magic number here because it is heavily dependent on your individual progress, the severity of the addiction, and any of those co-occurring mental health conditions we talked about. It's a timeline that you and your treatment team are going to figure out together. As for accommodations, a luxury center that is hyper-focused on individualized care, like Seasons Malibu, often offers options for private or shared rooms. This provides an immense level of comfort, dignity, and the privacy you genuinely might need to truly decompress at the end of a very heavy emotional day. And, that level of individualized care translates directly into immense trust. Seasons Malibu actually holds a 4.8 out of 5 aggregate rating from past clients across various platforms. That number is huge. It reflects a proven track record of creating a safe, highly effective environment for doing this life-altering work.
Finally, we've reached Section 6, stopping the momentum.
So here we are at the conclusion of that disorienting, emotional, and exhausting first week of residential treatment. It is so important to remember that week 1 isn't designed to magically fix everything. Interrupting the cycle of addiction takes real time. You aren't going to be completely transformed by day 7, and honestly, you might even still feel a bit raw and uncertain. Rather, week 1 is designed to just stop the violent momentum of your addiction. It slams the brakes on the cycle of using, regretting, and promising to stop. In its place, it plants a solid, supportive routine, a team that actually listens to you, and a safe space for you to finally take a breath. If you take away just one single thing from this entire explainer today, let it be this incredibly powerful reminder from the experts at Seasons Malibu. Bring the fear with you. It won't disqualify you from healing. Let that sink in. Being terrified doesn't mean you aren't ready for a new life. It just means you recognize that what you are about to do is massive. Bring the fear with you. It won't disqualify you from healing. In fact, acknowledging it is very often the very first courageous step.
So, now that we've pulled back the curtain on those first 7 days, the terrifying unknown has been replaced by a clear, manageable roadmap. The expert team at Seasons Malibu is standing by 24/7 to help you take it from here. I'll leave you with this final, most important question to ponder. Are you ready to begin?